Hi, everyone. I'm pleased to welcome and extend a warm welcome to all of you to our webinar series, Behind the Blue Door. Today, we'll give you a behind-the-looks view to behind the blue door at the mission and show you what your generous support does for our clients. I'm Sylvie Corbin. I'm the manager of major gifts with the development team here at the mission. Before we begin, we'd like to respectfully acknowledge that we are on traditional unceded Anishinaabe Nation. We offer our gratitude to the First Nations for their care in teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. You can ask questions at any time throughout the webinar with the Q&A function just at the bottom of your screen. And we'll be happy to answer your questions at the end of the webinar during the formal question and answer session. We also want to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded, and we will be sending you a link following the webinar that you can view again to all the members who are here today. So now I'm pleased to introduce Sean Barron, Chair of the Board of Directors of the Mission. Sean?
Thank you, Sylvie. It is wonderful to be here today. I am honored to be with you all. Thank you for participating. Of course, it is your support that enables the Ottawa Mission to deliver services to the most vulnerable in our community. The needs for supports, from sheltering to meals to medical services and more, has increased dramatically over the pandemic. And now, as we come out of the pandemic, from inflation, employment insecurity, and economic instability. We have some very special guests with us today. Lynn Landis, our Director of Healthcare Services, Shannon Walters, our Dental Hygienist and Clinic Administrator, and David McTaggart, who is a current Diane Morrison Hospice and Dental Clinic client. I would like now to introduce you all to our Chief Executive Officer, Peter Tilley. Of course, Peter hardly needs an introduction, but I like doing it. Impactful organizations are characterized by great leadership. Leadership with a heart, leadership that cares. And what's more, Peter is also a friend to many, including me. So Peter, with that, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sean, for that wonderful introduction. And to all our panelists, thank you, everyone, and to everybody who's joined us on this webinar. Many of you are friends and family of the mission. We like to think of it as a family, because only with your support can we do all that we do. And speaking of all that we do, there's a reason you'll see that tagline over Sylvie and Lynn's right shoulder to your left is more than a shelter. Many who come down for the tour here are surprised to see how much more than a shelter we were. We've had many city councilors in lately. We've had many corporate supporters and other groups in, and individuals coming down, and anyone is welcome to contact Sylvie or any member of the development team and ask that they'd like to come down for a tour. It's so great that we're pulling out of this pandemic and we're finally able to do that again. It's such a pleasure to bring people in and showcase what we do. But that piece of more than a shelter extends so much more beyond our doors here, the beds, the meals, the services that our frontline provide as far as mental health first aid intervention and CPR and many other supports of the great frontline team and the rest of the team here as well too. Today we're going to highlight particularly on another piece of what we do here, and that's that health clinic piece. A lot of that, the great partnership we have with our provincially funded Ottawa inner city health providers. Some of that, people like Shannon, who you're about to meet next, who are a part of, or after Lynn speaks, a part of our dental clinic as founded by Tom Harrell. And of course, we're going to highlight, as Sean mentioned, the Diane Morrison Hospice, a huge part of what we do. And my friend David. Thank you for doing this, Dave. For a piece, Dave and I share a story that he first came into the limelight for us when we were doing an interview outside, I think, about how cold it was. And the interviewer, Leah Larocque from CTV, said, "Have you got somebody who's staying there who could tell us about how cold it is?" And David proudly told Leah that he'd spent time in Edmonton and he was from there, to which she said, "So was I," and a bond was developed. So now she's always looking for him when she comes to visit, as he is with her when she comes to visit, and that. So, people who stay here at the mission stay here because they have a diverse set of complicated backgrounds, sometimes complex medical needs. And it's difficult for people who are sleeping rough, as we call it, or people who are on the streets, or people who are staying in the shelters to find the healthcare needs, to have their needs met. How fortunate we are to have the DYMON Health Clinic, how fortunate we are to have a hospice, and how fortunate we are to have a dental clinic, all up and running and very operational to meet people's sometimes diverse needs. So everything we do here is provided with non-judgmental, barrier-free services. And it's just our culture and our nature that we are as such, which makes it, plus the experience of our staff, whether frontline or the nurse practitioners or the caseworkers, the frontline intake that happens is just people who are homeless are comfortable with the experience of this staff in dealing with such often a marginalized, vulnerable population. And all of us here, from the frontline staff to the health clinic staff to myself, we all have experience and a love and a passion, a compassion for dealing with our population here. You're going to have a chat then, as I said, Lynn is going to have a chat with you, actually, and then we're going to turn it over and you're going to hear from Shannon from the dental clinic, a great gift to the organization, who came along beside us just a couple of years ago, and the experience she's brought to that position, the organization she's brought to the dental clinic program. And of course, then we're going to hear from David. And gentlemen, I've had the pleasure of getting to know and learn more about each time. So I think this is where I am going to turn things over to you, Lynn. I'd like you to meet Lynn Landis. Many of you probably have already, our Director of Health Services.
Thank you, Peter. Hello, everyone. I've been working with health services here at the Ottawa Mission for over 5 years, and I have to say it still amazes me to witness the services we provide to our clients, and that's thanks to our donors and partners. We're all very fortunate to be able to offer such incredible resources to each person that walks through our doors. Here's a short video to show you a little bit about our primary care clinic. Welcome to the DYMON Health Clinic at the Ottawa Mission. June will mark the 4th anniversary of our health clinic. Thanks to an important investment by DYMON and our donors, we expanded our space of 2 exam rooms to 4 larger ones, so we could better serve the most vulnerable in Ottawa. The clinic was developed to divert the homeless population from the emergency rooms in hospitals. It is open 7 days a week and available to anyone experiencing homelessness or in a situation of precarious housing. We try to remove barriers so that our clients can have access to health care in an environment that is safe and stigma-free. No appointments is necessary. Just walk in and be seen by one of the nurse practitioners or physicians hosting one of the many specialty clinics. Our clients access the clinic for many medical reasons, including physical exams, prescriptions and refills, blood work, immunizations, muscle and bone issues, chronic disease management such as COPD, diabetes, and heart disease. We help many people that come in for mental health support as well as episodic and urgent care. The DYMON Health Clinic is made possible due to our close partnership with Ottawa Inner-City Health. Ottawa Inner-City Health provides the healthcare practitioners, which helps our clients access free medical care. There are also other collaborating healthcare practitioners from our community that join us in our clinic, such as the Ottawa Hospital, Briere Hospital, the Royal, and more. Working side by side to our primary care clinic is a dental clinic led by Dr. Tom Harrell. He includes and oversees over 30 volunteer professionals from the oral dentistry community, such as dentists, denturists, hygienists, and dental assistants. Shannon, dental hygienist, oversees the day-to-day operations of the clinic. Last year, Dr. David Maberly joined us to offer this population with his first ever eye clinic. Dr. Maberly leads ophthalmology at the Ottawa Hospital and at Ottawa U. He also built an eye clinic that is very successful on the east side of Vancouver's downtown for their homeless population. Dr. Maberly is actively recruiting more ophthalmologists in our community to join this practice at the DYMON Clinic. We also have built a new partnership with Essilor, who provides our clients with eyeglasses, sunglasses, and readers. Our health services also include the Diane Morrison Hospice. The Ottawa Mission and Ottawa Inner City Health created the only hospice for homeless in 2001. It was developed to take care of men and women living on the street or in shelter and requiring 24-hour palliative and end-of-life care. This program for the ill and dying homeless population is a special place where men and women receive medical nursing care and emotional support in an atmosphere of compassion and dignity. Thanks to our partners and donors, we're able to provide the care and supports that the most vulnerable people in our community need and deserve. Ottawa Mission Health Services have provided our community with so much hope. The difference having access to stigma-free healthcare can be life-changing for our clients. Last year, in the DYMON Medical Clinic, the team of healthcare practitioners offered primary care and specialty clinics to people living in emergency shelter or on the street well over 3,000 times. Some of the services offered by our close partners include mental health, chiropractor, diabetes and nutrition, foot care, and so much more. The Diane Morrison Hospice was home to 37 new patients last year, a place where our people can find dignity, care, and compassion when dying or very ill. In the dental clinic, Dr. Harrell, Shannon, and the team of volunteer dentists treated this vulnerable population 593 times. The work they do exceeds our expectations with services such as teeth cleaning, extractions, dentures, and so much more. The new eye clinic led by Dr. David Maberly, ophthalmologist from the Ottawa Hospital, helped 50 people receive care. This new service is allowing our clients to have access to vision by receiving eyeglasses, often for the very first time in their lives. The majority of our health services funding comes from donors. It's because of this community of people that we're able to provide these services. Over to you, Peter.
Thank you, Lynn. Yes, as we've mentioned before, people come in our doors for any number of reasons. It could be often, I've seen it's from trauma from the early age, from their younger years, the formative years. Could be for addiction issues, health problems, mental health issues, job loss, loss of their housing. Often people who've no longer able to afford their rent, and not a surprise in the market, today's market out there. And also a lot of other reasons. So we never know why someone comes in our doors, but well, we do find out why, but we'll always be there to treat them and help them. And it's amazing how many other services, other than those emergency services that we provide, those immediate healthcare services that we provide, we will walk along beside people with other supports, other wraparound supports, whether it's to address addiction issues, mental health issues, even education or job training programs. So always a big piece of what we do. But we're focusing today on some of our primary healthcare needs, the hospice and the dental clinic. And as a result, right now, I'd like to introduce to you Shannon, who's going to, with Dave, and talk a bit about some of the work that she does and that we do in our very important dental clinic founded by Tom Harrell, Dr. Tom Harrell, years ago. And now Shannon's been with us, I think, about 2.5 years, correct, Shannon? So I'm going to turn that over to you, Shannon, our dental hygienist and clinic administrator, and she's also going to then introduce Dave. So over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon. Like Peter said, I'm the dental clinic, dental hygienist and dental administrator at the Ottawa Mission, and I have been working here for 2.5 years. Before that, I volunteered at the dental clinic for about 3 years. And I love what I do because I get to work with an amazing team of volunteer dentists, hygienists, and other dental professionals. I get to help people get their smiles back and I get to help people get out of pain. And also I get to work with clients like Dave, which is awesome. So Dave, when you arrived at the Mission, you had been in a major car accident, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, and you were in a coma.
I was at the Civic Hospital.
Yeah.
And I was transferred here to this hospice. And I was put on the 3rd floor for the week, I think, so they can keep an eye on me before they move me into my present room. And everything's been moving upward for me.
Yeah, and that
since I
was
moved in.
That was May 2022. So you and I met shortly after that, after you came out of the coma.
I'm glad you told me it was May because I was thinking it was July or August.
Oh, geez.
So,
So why don't you tell us a little about yourself, Dave?
well, because of the car accident and the damage I did to myself, I still have problems on some memories. I can't handle names that well. I can't remember names. This one I can. Because we've done this a few times now, so I better not forget her name.
We've known each other for a while now.
Yes, we have. And speaking of the dental clinic, I went over there and I guess there was more wrong with my upper teeth than I wanted to admit. But the nice thing is, in another few weeks, I'll have my new teeth.
So what did you used to do for a job, Dave, like before you came to hospice?
Well, I used to own my own company, and it was a franchise outfit. It was called Cicero's Pizzeria, and I had 4 stores. Partnered with my brother, who took care of that. And after the car accident, I think the stores slowly, it was too much for one person, so my brother just sold it off because he's living in Miami now.
Wow. And before that, you were in the military, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was in the armed forces. I took my basic training in Shiloh, Manitoba. I transferred to Camp Borden for my trades training. And my trade was Armored Corps. And from there I was shipped to Iserlohn, Germany. And I got to drive around Germany in a Centurion tank.
You did quite a lot of traveling over there, didn't you?
So I did. I got to visit a number of countries while I was there. You got 15 days leave every 3 months. So if you were smart, and I was, I planned where I wanted to go and what I wanted to see.
And you made the most of it.
Yes, because you took a lot of these cities and a lot of these countries, you took them in school, but you haven't been there. Well, now I'm over there. I remember these countries from school. I got to go visit this. I got to go see the Eiffel Tower. I got to go to Germany, or Germany, I was stationed in Germany, but travel around Germany.
Mhm.
and learn it. I got to go to Holland.
Wow.
Went to Amsterdam,
Mhm.
so military was great for me.
And how has your
So-
experience been at the Diane Morrison Hospice for the past year?
After, for the year that I've been here, I came here in July, I believe. And things have been great. Once people get used to the fact that I don't remember your name. Okay, everything else I get along great with. And sometimes they call me the dancer. I like to dance. Okay, we had a party up there one day. I just got up and just started dancing. Next thing you know, this lady gets up and she's still dancing with him. Next thing you know, everyone else is going, he can dance, he can dance. Yes,
So they take
So I
good
feel
care of you
happy.
there, don't
they
they?
do.
Yeah.
Some like, they might laugh, I don't care. They're not laughing at me, they're laughing with me.
Of course.
Okay, if I have any problems, they're there right away to take care of it.
Mhm.
Okay, if you have to be somewhere, I'd rather be in this hospice than in a hospital,
Wow.
because there's just so many people ready to help you, and take care of you. So, and I've met so many new friends. I got a notice from the tax department that I was 6 years behind on my taxes. These people jumped right in and took care of it. I wasn't behind. I had an account, I had no business, I had an accountant. How could I be behind? They took care of it all, got it all straightened out. So. I can't say enough about this place. They're there to help you if you let them.
We appreciate your kind words for sure, Dave. Do you remember the first time we met back in summer 2022, a year ago?
This is, well, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I remember I met you, I don't remember when.
Well,
So,
I remember it really well because I offered you a toothbrush
yes,
and I said, how are your teeth doing? And you said, I'll take the toothbrush, but I probably won't use it because my teeth are all rotten and I don't think there's any point. And you let me take a look.
that sounds like me.
That it was you. And now, so we did find some infection, remember? We did find some cavities, we did find some gum disease, but here you are. Some of them, you were right, some of them needed to come out. We did some extractions for the top teeth, but the bottom teeth, we're able to save.
Well,
So,
the bottom teeth, you kind of concentrated on me for those teeth. You gave me what we call the dolphin.
yeah, a little floss pick.
It's a little floss thing. She taught me how to brush properly. To get ready to yellow. They were really yellow at the bottom. Still a little bit now, I think, but not bad.
It's a work in progress.
Yes. So
So,
the teeth that I have left is because of this young lady was here,
thank you, Dave.
you know.
So we are in the process of getting you dentures, a full top denture, a partial bottom denture. So we're keeping those teeth really healthy to make sure the bottom denture fits well for many, many years. You should be getting that in the next couple of weeks. Super exciting. And other than the dentures, what are your next steps, Dave?
I am working with a young lady in one of the offices as far as, because I was in the military, getting the Legions to give me my own apartment and whatnot. This is a process that you gotta go through, because you're dealing with the government, you're dealing with the military, and she has to sit there and download these forms and everything else. So again, that's just one of the things that this place does for you. If you need something done, they will jump in and do it for you or help you do it yourself. You
And
know,
she's also helping you get some hearing aids, right?
yes, that's
Mhm.
about it. If everything goes through on the military side, they will get me hearing aids.
Yeah, Yeti from Hospice is getting you all set up.
Yes, she
It's
is.
a long road, but you're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your input, Dave. It's always great to sit and have a chat with you. And now over to you, Peter.
A what?
Wow.
Oh,
I'm going to jump in here now, Dave, if you'll spare the stage. Thank you so much, Shannon and Dave, for sharing your experience. You've been a delight and you're a comfort. And certainly I know some of the other people who stay here with us find you always someone they can turn to for a little bit of wisdom. And certainly I think some of your background has helped with that. I've enjoyed our conversations as well, too. I think it's just a special piece we do, that this dental clinic of ours, which I don't know if the public realizes, it's open to the entire community of homeless people. Anyone who's homeless, it's the only qualification to be in the clinic is welcome in our clinic to receive dental care. So if you're staying at another shelter or if you're on the street, our clinic is open to people from right across this city to provide those services. And our thanks to, again, Dr. Tom Harrell for getting the dental clinic going up and running here in the city of Ottawa, but also to the dentists who volunteer their time that Shannon helps to coordinate to come in and do the intricate work. Sometimes it's just some of the touch-up work and but a very selfless group of individuals who make that dental clinic work. And just a further piece of some of the things we do here under our roof at the Ottawa Mission, but a very valuable piece when you think of someone who's homeless, having to go around, whether it's a cavity, an abscess tooth, in pain. All of us have been there with that type of dental need, to have that repaired, and also for many to have their smiles returned, to be able to smile when they hear a joke rather than cover their mouth. I've noticed that amongst the clients who go through the dental clinic. It's a beautiful gift. We're very blessed here. So thank you all who have participated. We're a bit ahead of schedule, so I could either ramble on for a few more minutes, but I don't think I will. So I'm going to just see if we have any questions. We're going to do a question and answer period now, and just see if we have anybody who's tuned into this webinar. Sylvie, unless you had any other thoughts, but we're going to turn things over now to Sylvie to coordinate things.
Thank you, Peter. I just want to remind everyone that you can, at the bottom of your screen, use the Q&A to ask your questions. We'll be happy to answer them. And if we don't get around to it, we will send you an email at the end of the webinar, rest assured. So I just want to turn things over to Lynn. I know in your video, Lynn, you talked about the clinic, the organization of it, and so on. I'm wondering if you can talk a bit more about Dr. Maberly and how he came to being involved with us here at the Mission, and how the eye clinic came into being, our modest eye clinic for the time being.
Sure. So Dr. Maberly was living in BC, and he was the head of ophthalmology out there at the hospital and university, and he had started the very first eye clinic for homeless on East Hastings there. And he moved to Ottawa the year before, and as soon as he did, he contacted Ottawa Inner City Health. And then they put him into contact with me, and he just shared his story with me, just around what it's like for people that are homeless and don't have access to eye care. Just imagine not being able to use your glasses, right? And especially people living on the street who acknowledge each other. And that's a sign of respect, and not being able to do that, not being able to see clearly in front of you. And that often leads you down a very scary path sometimes if you're not offering credit to the right people. And so, and even just being able to see signs or to read anything. And that's something that our clients face, not having eye care, but also, you know, if they do happen to get a pair of eyeglasses, they often are lost or stolen or broken. And, you know, it's just in the stigma around going into a regular eye clinic. It's not easy. So knowing we have a special place in our clinic now and we're looking at this clinic being led in the same way that our dental clinic is, where they're volunteer ophthalmologists and optometrists coming in to care for our clients. Our clients will be able to be referred, and that's not just the Ottawa Mission, but also, you know, the entire homeless population across Ottawa living in other shelters and on the street can come in either by referral from one of the nurses across Ottawa or that work with us, or just walking in and being able to access that service without judgment, without fear, with trust is huge. And also being able to come back, we created a partnership with Essilor, and they're supporting us and offering clients reading glasses and eyeglasses. And so, you know, we're kind of tying up that whole circle of care where you come in and you have your exam, but then you also have your eyeglasses too. So that's going to be a huge, I think, success for our people. And just to be able to have that service is really great.
Thank you, Lynn. I was witness firsthand to the impact of having eye care services. I was here on Saturday for Open Doors Ottawa, and we had a client come to the clinic, and he had lost his reading glasses, couldn't function. And I said, "I'm so sorry, I'm not sure I can help you." And he guided me to where the readers were, and I was able to hand one out. So having partners like Essilor and having eye services like we have is invaluable to our clients. So absolutely. Thank you. We do have a question for Dave. Dave, what's your favorite? We know you like to dance, but what's your favorite part of being in the hospice? What do you do to enjoy yourself there at the hospice for the time being?
The new people I meet that come in, plus the people that are already there, you get to know them. You talk to them, you find out what their story is, you can tell them your story. Things like that. I enjoy going outside, okay, and talking to them. I see the people on the street. I know why they're there, what got them there, what's going to get them back to where they were. That hospice does it from the people that work there. There's nobody I met that works there that doesn't care about the place and the people in it. That's what I really like about it.
Thanks, Dave. We have a question for Peter. It's more of a funding question, how the health and dental clinics are funded, Peter.
Yeah, so much of our clinics are funded. A big piece of what we do, the nursing and some of the staff are funded through the inner city health provincial funding that goes to inner city health, so we can contract in the service providers such as Care4 and work with the nurses from that group. But a big piece of what we do too, the administration, this solid building here right above my office where the 3 floors of the hospice are, the primary care clinic that's beside me, the dental clinic, the admin support, and the materials piece of that is all funded by our donors. And we're very grateful to our donors who have always stepped forward to help fund those pieces of our operations, those very valuable pieces of our operations. So that's certainly what keeps the wheels turning here, is that very valuable support. And again, as much as the emergency services, the beds, the meals, the mental health and addictions intervention supports that we do, that primary health care piece is critical, of course, to the success of any individual, for any of us who have suffered ills and aches and pains and sometimes things more serious, how important that we provide that service right here on site. We knew when we set up this model with Dr. Jeff Turnbull, Wendy Muckle, Dr. Robert Cushman then was the medical officer of health, we were going to meet the people where they were at, because many people from our sector aren't going to jump on the bus and head down to a clinic or a hospital emergency room, plus the cost of that, or somebody being transported by ambulance who could be treated here on site at one of the shelters. It's a good model, and it works, and it provides a very, very valuable service to our community.
Thank you, Peter. This one is for Lynn. Lynn, how would someone get about getting referred to the dental clinic and the hospice? How do we intake patients at both?
Sure. So the dental clinic, I think Shannon spoke about that a little bit earlier. Anyone living in any of the shelters or on the street can actually access the dental clinic. So all they have to do is come in, present themselves, and Shannon is responsible. She manages all of the bookings, all of the appointments. It's a lot of work, but she's extremely organized. And so anyone who is in need and has no access to financial ability to be able to pay for a private dentist can come in here, and but they just have to be living in a shelter on the street. And so that's an easy one. And then the hospice, that's a little bit different. Inner City Health works with every organization in Ottawa that works with the vulnerable population. And so there are nurses from Inner City working in all of the shelters and also at John Howard. And what they do is then they refer through a round system with our physicians, people that are living in our community that have been homeless. So that's the main way. And through those rounds, those names come up and people have a choice. So if someone is living in, say, a supportive housing program with the SHEPS or somewhere else, and are at end of life, or are very ill and need more medical care, they have a choice to come to hospice. It's not, no one is, made to come, but it's something that is offered. And most of the time people accept it because they know that this is often, you look at the trajectory of many of our people that have lived on the streets or in shelter. It's often been a very difficult life with trauma and addictions. And once they get to hospice, it's such a circle of care that is so compassionate and kind and loving and nurturant that it ends up being one of the best parts of their lives. And so through that process, that's the main way, is through other inner city health programs that people are referred here or living in our shelter here at the Mission, but also hospitals. Hospitals are very tightly connected with social workers. They know, you've heard Yeti's name a few times today. She's the manager at Hospice, and all of the social workers in the hospitals have her number on speed dial. So if they come across someone in hospital that's really ill or end of life and needs palliative care and are homeless, don't have anywhere to go, they call Yeti, and then that name comes forward, and then we make sure that it's a right fit. And the criteria is to get into hospice, of course, is a life-limiting illness, and the criteria of being homeless.
Thanks, Lynn.
You're welcome.
We have a question that touches on OHIP cards, and Peter, I'll turn it to you because it concerns our client services that we offer to our clients. So as many people come in, they don't have OHIP cards. So what happens in those circumstances, and what do our client services offer them?
I think our former client service manager and current health clinic director would probably be in a better position to answer how the process works for someone to get their OHIP card, how we would go about helping them with that. So Lynn, I'll let you take it away if you're ready to go.
So, and this happens quite a bit. We have people that lose not just a health card, but all of their ID. And so when they come into the clinic, we offer them how to get a temporary, and I mean, it's up the street, City Hall, where you can just walk over and get that temporary number. If people are struggling and having a hard time with that, we can even call up a peer. So through Inner City Health, there's a support through peer support services where we would have someone come and accompany if we get to that point. We would offer transportation if we had to. We do whatever we can to have people access, not just for, you know, if we saw the person right then we want them to have that ID. So we support them through the process to get it and then come back in for care, healthcare.
Thank you, Lynn. I think you touched on this, but it's can poor people and not homeless people per se obtain services through Ottawa Inner City Health? I'm not sure if you can answer that question, Lynn.
So Ottawa Inner City Health serves the people living in shelter primarily and on the streets. And so their presence is within all of those organizations. So at the Ottawa Mission, we have the primary care clinic where the nurse practitioners, nursing and physicians who work with Inner City Health come in. And the same thing with hospice, and every other shelter organization working with this population has their own medical health care providers that work with Inner City Health that serve and treat the people living in those environments.
Lynn, you're on the hot seat today. I have another one for you. Do both female and do we have both female and male doctors coming into the clinic because some women may not be comfortable with a male physician? If you can talk a bit about the services we offer for female or women clients.
So at this point right now, it's our primary care clinic primarily has nurse practitioners that see all of our clients coming in 7 days a week, and they're all female. But we do have male physicians, and we have plenty of residents. They're both male and female as well. So nurse practitioners are all female right now, but that changes. It depends on, you know, who applies for the position. It's nice to have a balanced team, but we have both.
Thanks, Lynn. And Lynn, I'll put one last one for you here. We're talking a lot about the shortage of nurses, and people are wondering how we coping here at the mission. How are we filling the positions and the help that we have? And I'd say both at the medical clinic and, of course, at the hospice.
I would say that the culture at Ottawa Inner City Health and the Ottawa Mission is so healthy that we have been fortunate to have staff retention with our medical providers and also our partners. We have had, we definitely have had some new staff come on, but I just think we're really fortunate. We have a great team and we're not missing any nurses. And I think that speaks to all of the work that Inner City Health does in recruiting and supervising and coaching and guiding their healthcare providers. And then on our end, doing the same thing is having that circle of care for our teams as well. So
Thanks,
we're
Lynn.
very fortunate.
Thanks, Lynn. I said one last, but there's a one last question I'd like to ask you. It comes from one of our longtime partner and friend of the mission, and he's asking, are there more people wanting to come to the hospice than are beds available?
It depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes we have a wait list where it's completely full, and then it could be the next week where we're not and we have open beds. It's never the same. It fluctuates. It depends on what's happening at the time. COVID was really strange and not the usual because people would be in hospital, and once in hospital, then there was, you know, the sickness with COVID, the testing about COVID, and then it wasn't as easy to come in. So that made it a little bit, but aside from that, the little small pandemic that we had to deal with, that made it difficult for us, but you know, it's never the same.
Thanks, Lynn. I have a question for Dave. You've been sitting there patiently. Dave, what are you going to do after the webinar is over today? What's your next stop today?
Well, I like to go for long walks every day. And I haven't had my long walk yet. So I think right after this, I'll be going up Rideau Street and all the way around and come back down.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Peter here to close off our session today.
Wow, a wealth of great questions. I see one last one came in about our services also open to females. And yes, everything here at the shelter is open to female people who come under our doors, except for the beds at night. For obvious reasons, we don't mix populations when they sleep here at night, when people sleep here at night. And the addictions program, ours specializes in addiction and trauma services for men in healing. There are women's services in the city of Ottawa for addictions and also for beds as well too. Never enough of either of those for either of our populations. So I wanted to thank everyone who put this together, especially Kim, Sylvie, and the rest of the team, the development team. And these webinars are a very valuable chance for us to reach out. They were born of the pandemic, of course, but something that's, as many of us are balancing virtual versus in person, as we move on into the future, sometimes virtual is a great option to do things. And today was one of those such opportunities. Thanks to everyone who's been a part of this. Dave, my heart goes out to you. And thank you for being so eloquent and for availing yourself, for giving us that piece of your gratitude and experience to be a part of our webinar today. And thank you, Chair Sean Barron. Sean highlighted some of my pieces. Sean often, more and more, I tell him what an excellent job he does as a chair in balancing the board thing. It's something to watch in our board rooms where Sean is so inclusive to make sure we get everybody's input, and he invites that as a board, as well as an effective chair reaching out to this community. And yes, Sean and I will be at a committee meeting tonight, a new committee we're forming as we look at reaching out to the community to fill a couple of gaps on our board in areas where we're missing some skill sets. And so I think I'm going to see you at 5 o'clock, Mr. Chair. I think we've promised you some food and refreshment for you and the other board members. And before we close off then, Sean, I think I'll just turn it back to you if you had any final thoughts for us.
Sure. Thank you very much, Peter. Well, you've heard from our staff, and, I am always quite literally blown away by the skill, the caring, the teamwork of our staff. So thank you very much. Peter, thank you as usual. And yes, we will see each other this evening. Dave, I want to thank you as well. Thank you for sharing your story with us today. It was really, really impactful to hear from you and to hear your perspectives. So thank you very much. Back to you, Peter.
Okay, are we closing it out, Sylvie? Are you?
We are. And for all the questions we didn't answer, I'm just letting everyone know that we'll be in touch via email to you to touch base on those questions that we didn't get a chance to get around to today. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone.